we're all here as coaches for our team, so that in alone can kind of seem overwhelming. What is a coach? What does that mean? How many of you have sat on a team in your school or district already as a part of a team member? Maybe you facilitated the team. So you have experience working in teams. You've seen how teams work together. So you're going to bring all of that knowledge and all that skill to that role of a coach. So we're going to go through the role of a coach, and we're going to think back a couple slides ago. We went over the functions of a coach. So I'm going to be referencing some of those functions and how they play into the role of a coach. So think about that slide that had all those bullet points on it. You can also feel free to reference your coaching workbook on that page there, so you can follow along if that works for you as well. So the first thing that you'll see is that there's 3 roles: facilitating, communicating, and content knowledge. I'm going to start by facilitating. What does it mean to facilitate? If you think about the different activities that you'll be doing kind of as the coach. So your role here is to look at how can I drive my team to really implement with fidelity? And how can I ensure that our school is going to be doing our best job with putting the systems and structures of PBIS in place? So some of that will be leading team meetings. So you're going to need to be prepared. You're going to need to have the information. You're going to need to be ready to kind of lead your team. However, it's not dependent on you. So we learned also in a few slides before this that it's not person dependent, that it's not about you being the coach, but really the function of that coach. So how can you bring your team members so they're engaged in being part of that team meeting? Anybody have any ideas on how you might include some of your team members to be part of that team meeting?
I think having a job is sometimes useful.
Yep, so having a role. There might be somebody who takes minutes. There might be somebody who's a timekeeper. They might help you develop the agenda. So having them be an active participant in developing that team meeting. Another piece that I kind of want to preference before we have our team training is that there's going to be a lot of activities. So you're getting today a preview of what will be done during our team meeting. But there's going to be lots of activities and time to action plan and work together as a team. It's really your job to keep your team on track. So this might be using some of those strategies that you've used as a small team together, having roles. It might be just being prepared for those meetings. So as you see the content that we're going to go over, maybe it's like, oh, I should bring our data. Maybe I should bring a tool that we use when we action plan as a team. So making sure that you're prepared and ready to kind of monitor those activities. And then the last piece there is your role in implementation. As you saw in the function slide, it's really important kind of for sustainability and accountability that we have good implementation. So again, it's not person dependent, but how can you support implementation? And that might mean that you need to be a cheerleader once in a while, providing positive reinforcement to your staff, prompting them. So making sure that you are kind of the face of PBIS, but allowing your team members to also take on some of that role with you. This comes with good communication. If we don't share information, if we don't let people be part of the process, then we are not really kind of looking for them to be part of it. So as much as we can bring folks into what we're doing, communicating what we're doing, sharing the information, not only with our team members, but with our school members as a wider community, school personnel, families, students, that'll help with buy-in, that'll help with really good implementation in your school, sustainability. It also is important to share this information, like I said, with all of the different stakeholders. So oftentimes I've been in schools where I've seen they share information as a team, and the PBIS team knows everything that's happening in these team training days, and they go to roll out implementation the next year, and everyone's like, what are we doing? Who decided we were going to do this? What are these expectations? It's the importance of getting buy-in all along this process and ensuring that people are aware of what you're doing, that they have a voice in what you're doing, and that they're part of it. The last piece is content knowledge. You might be feeling a little stressed out right now about like, oh gosh, I have to be the leader of this. I'm supposed to know all about PBIS. We're going to help you get there. So you can all like take a deep breath. We're all going to get there together. We have some great resources. So in a few slides, we're going to go over some of these resources. I'm going to encourage you all to look at them, become familiar with them. I've been doing this training for a few years now, and I still access those resources frequently. They're constantly updating them, so please write them down, take note of them, and use them. Because the important piece is you'll feel more confident as a coach if you have the content knowledge to be able to lead your team. So again, kind of big pieces here. It's not all dependent on you. This is a team process. We're all here to make it kind of successful together. You need to kind of get that buy-in with your team and your school to ensure they're going to help the facilitation of implementation along. But you are a driving force for success